Welcome to the Heal Your Hunger Show, where we get to the heart of why you overeat and how to stop. If you struggle with food and weight like I did, welcome home.
Welcome everybody to the Heal Your Hunger Show. So happy to have you here. It is a great day to be alive, and we just finished off an amazing week of the Quit Sugar Challenge. Amazing. So thank you if you were one of the people who participated. We had over 450 people registered for the Quit Sugar Challenge. So that's a lot of people that want to quit sugar. It's a lot of people who hate what sugar is doing to them, right? And if you're one of those people, just join us for the next one. Just go to quitsugarchallenge.com and register for the wait list, and you'll be the first to find out about it when it comes out. So yeah, I am so excited because we have so many new women who are joining the Heal Your Hunger family on account of them learning about Heal Your Hunger and wanting to really overcome emotional eating. So that's always an exciting thing because I lived in hell with emotional eating. I know what it's like to be overweight. I was 50 pounds overweight. I know what it's like to struggle with food. And I know what it's like to think there's no solution. So I'm going to talk to you about some hope that I've just experienced. I've experienced hope, and I want to tell you about it. But first of all, I want to just say welcome if you're here for the first time. This is a great place to be if you're sick and tired of crazy diets and impossible exercise programs. So glad that you're here with us. Glad that you're curious about finding another way to lose the weight and keep it off. And so that's what we do here at Heal Your Hunger. We heal your hunger. We don't, God does, but we are in a position to have that hunger healed when we do certain things that have nothing to do with diet, nothing to do with food even, for the most part. So glad you're here. Also, if you're not sure if you're an emotional eater, I use those words a lot. So go to healyourhunger.com and take the quiz. Find out if you're an emotional eater or a food addict or somewhere in between. You'll get a personalized score and then action steps to take based on your score. So on with the show. This is going to be short and sweet. Because I was so caught up with the Quit Sugar Challenge, I haven't done a podcast in a little bit, and I just wanted to really get the ball rolling by talking to you about this little miracle that I experienced yesterday. Yes, yesterday. So we had so many beautiful, amazing women decide to join us for Heal Your Hunger and the incredible journey of overcoming emotional eating. And we talked to a lot of women too, my team and I, and people who were super curious. And I have to tell you, there's one woman I had a chance to talk to who wanted so much to heal. She's got a lot of weight on her, and she's tried a lot of things, and she's in her late 60s, and she's pretty much given up hope. She wants to hope, but she's afraid to hope. Do you relate to that? Wanting to hope, but being afraid to hope, that there's a solution. And I think when you've been beaten up so long, so many times by food and weight and the struggle and the diets and all the things that don't work, you just give up hope. You give up hope and you're afraid to hope. So I just want to tell you about Mary Lou, because I got to talk to Mary Lou on the phone. And Mary Lou didn't have much loosed. Okay. She didn't have a lot of life in her. She didn't have a lot of just energy for anything. She's been taking care of her husband, who's bedridden. She basically is a caretaker. That's what she does. She's retired and she's a caretaker, and there's not a lot of happy high notes in her life right now. She struggles with a lot of health problems. And if you have struggled with food and weight for any amount of time, you're experiencing health issues, joint pain or digestive pain or autoimmune issues, heart issues, diabetes. All kinds of things happen when we eat a lot of food and a lot of the wrong kinds of food for a long period of time. So it goes with the territory. So sure enough, she's evidence of this. And somebody from my program had a chance to talk to her and just fell in love with her and just wanted so much for Mary Lou to have a second chance at life. And So she asked me to speak with her as well. And I did. And oh, I'm so glad I did. Mary Lou just was so just withdrawn, so hopeless, so just feeling like there was no hope for her. So what was the point? What is the point of trying yet another program? And how many of us have felt that way, that, oh my God, we've done so many diets, done so many exercise programs and pills and potions and lotions. And what's the point? What's the point? Nothing works. I always put the weight back on. I always end up here, miserable, overweight, sick. So that's where she was, and what she also was incredibly afraid. Mary Lou had so much fear. She just thought, I can't possibly do it. I can't possibly try a program. I can't possibly follow through with a program. I can't possibly succeed at a program, when it comes to weight and food and my relationship with food. And so I heard that. I heard the fear in her voice, and I have to say that fear is no stranger to the emotional eater. We know about fear, don't we? It's one of the characteristics of an emotional eater. It's one of the 24 personality traits of the anatomy of the emotional eater, is just to be rife with fear. And I was so afraid that I just couldn't make a move. I couldn't make a move. And there's so many things I needed to do in my life, so many actions that I could take, and places I could go, things I could do, jobs I could probably have. But I lacked self-confidence. I had fear. I had so much self-doubt. My God, I had so much self-doubt. What if it doesn't work for me? It works for everybody but me. What if I fail? What if I spend money and there are no results? All these things that I think we all tell ourselves when we've been beating our head against the wall with weight loss plans of various kinds. So I recognized the fear in her, and it was immobilizing her. She wanted freedom. She wanted to be on the Heal Your Hunger journey, but she couldn't say yes to herself. And it's a hard thing to do. I have to say, so many women, especially middle-aged women, they've spent decades caring for other people. They've spent decades, sacrificing for their kids, for their spouse, for their parents, for their job. And they're not used to saying yes to themselves. So that's where Mary Lou was at. And because she was so afraid, I talked to her about the fear, and I talked to her about how she probably is not going to overcome the fear on her own. And she's probably not going to lose weight on her own, because if she could have, she would have, and I talked to her about letting us at Heal Your Hunger love her back to health. And I really mean that. At Heal Your Hunger, this is nothing about food and weight. This is nothing about, what we're used to out there. It is so much about love, about loving people back to health. So I talked to her about the fear, and I just told her, and I really felt this, like, let us love you. Let us love you, so that you can have hope again. And somehow, in some way, she said yes. And she said, but this was her big caveat. She's like, on those calls, those group calls you have, don't expect to see me. She said, I'm so uncomfortable talking to other people. I don't want to be seen. It's just so uncomfortable for me. And I said, sure. We'll just humor that fear, and you don't have to turn your video on. You don't even have to talk, but join us, do the program, do it all out. And, she registered for my program. She showed up on the orientation call. She didn't have her video on. She just put her answers in the chat, and we had that agreement. So that was okay. But on the next call, the next group coaching call, I'm in there and I'm talking, I'm answering questions, I'm on a roll. And then boom, I lose my train of thought. Just completely froze. Why? Because there was Mary Lou. staring at me through the camera. And I just said, oh my God, Mary Lou, I see you. And sure enough, on her own volition, on the second call, she took her video off so we could see her. I mean, she turned her video on so we could see her. And I cannot tell you, it moved me to tears that on her own volition, she turned her video on and she decided to really join us for the call. But not just join us for the call, but to walk through her fear. She busted through that fear on the second call of my program and let herself be seen and let herself be loved. Because it's easier to love on people when you can see their face on Zoom, you know? I mean, it's okay if you don't see their face, but it's harder when you can look at them in the eye and see them. You know, you see their house that they're sitting in. It's just, you can pour so much love into them. So we all just loved on Mary Lou. Everybody in the chat is like, go Mary Lou, way to go. So happy you're here. Sweet, sweet, loving comments, and love pouring out to Mary Lou. And why? Because we all know about fear. Like, the women in my program are so amazing. They're so heart-centered and so empathic. You know, we feel other people's feelings, sometimes to a fault. But the point is that we knew how Mary Lou was feeling. We know her pain. We know her fear. We have been immobilized by fear. Friends, I've been so afraid in my lifetime. There's so many things I just couldn't do unless I ate a whole lot of food. I had to eat a whole lot of French fries, a whole lot of carbs, a whole lot of sugar, just to have the courage to do things I was afraid to do. You've heard alcohol referred to as liquid courage. Well, for me, it was, you know, solid courage through food. I just got so much courage from food. I mean, liquor too, that helped. But, you know, we all know that fear, that immobilizing fear. And it's endemic to the emotional eaters experience. You know, yeah, there's other people who are afraid, but we take the cake on this one. I'm telling you, we know fear. We have been immobilized by fear, trapped in our own heads on a kind of fear, not taking action in our lives, sidestepping things that were scary, not going for job opportunities, not putting on those tight pants, you know, not making that phone call to somebody that we, you know, might like or want to go on a date with. You know, we've been immobilized by fear, not speaking up for ourselves, not saying how we really feel for fear that people would reject us or think we're crazy, not speaking our minds. These fears have eaten away at us, and they have kept us trapped. And that's where Mary Lou was. She was trapped. And I really rallied for her, because I knew if she didn't do something, if she didn't take definitive action and join my program, it was curtains for Mary Lou. She wouldn't do anything else. Trying to do it on her own, that wasn't going to work. She knew it. But she was so afraid to hope. She was so afraid to give herself a chance, you know. But she let me support her in saying yes to herself. And literally, it's been 48 hours and she's already coming alive. I just saw her. She just, you know, started the modules. I see her in there doing her work. She's doing it. And, you know, that's the power of love. That's the power of standing up to your fears. You know, fear will buffalo you. Fear will back you into a corner. Like, if you let fear win, fear will take more next time. You know, every time fear tries to intimidate you, you know, bullies you, and you let it, it gets bigger and you get weaker. You know, it gets stronger, you get weaker. Every time you let fear win, the fear gets stronger and you get weaker. So next time, it's even easier for the fear to back you down. And the only thing that will work, the only way to turn it around, is to stop and face the fear. You know, bust it in the mouth, you know, bust that bully in the mouth, so it will back down. So that's what Mary Lou did. You know, something happened, something clicked inside of her. I have a feeling it was the love. I have a feeling it was all that love. But she decided she's worth saving. And I hope you decide that for yourself, because, if you're trapped in fear, if you're trapped in weight gain and hating your body and trying to do it on your own because you feel embarrassed, you feel like I should be able to do it on my own. If you haven't, reach out for help. Stop trying to do it on your own. There's no shame in getting help. I need help every single day. I have so many people that help me in my life. It takes a village for me, and I'm unapologetic about it. I wasn't made to be self-sufficient. God has us here to help each other, to need each other and help each other. We're not meant to be islands. So I feel grateful that I've just surrendered to the fact that I need a lot of help, and I love that I have such beautiful, loving people in my life, and my clients, they're so beautiful and loving and supportive, and my coaches, my mentors, my friends, my family. I have a lot of beautiful people in my life who support me, So you deserve that support. Stop being so stoic, reach out for help, and just know that love does heal. Love heals. Those who abide in God, those who abide in, what is it? The Bible quote is, those who abide in love abide in God, and God in him. So God is love. And when we love, when we support, when we help each other, we're just connecting at the heart level, and we're healing as we do it. And that's what happened to Mary Lou. She let herself be healed by the love, and of course she's got more work to do, but she's got the support of all these amazing women that want to see her succeed, that are going to stand for her and root her on every step of the way. So that's what I got to experience. That's the hope that just I was infused with, in the past 48 hours, to see the transformation in Mary Lou, because she said yes to herself and she faced that fear down, and she received the love that probably helped her do it. So I want that for you. I so want that for you. You deserve it. Say yes to yourself. Don't do it alone, and let yourself be loved. You're worth it. You may not think so. Act like you are. Just act like you are. Thank you so much. I love you, and I'll see you on the next show. Bye.
If you enjoyed this podcast and want to get free support, insider health info, exclusive invites to events, and more, visit healyourhunger.com.